what does it take to be a breakthrough brand given that Meta, Google and all the social media channels which help you reach the consumer is now very, very expensive?
It cannot be one channel anymore. It cannot be that, hey, I'm an Instagram brand or I'm an online D2C first brand. If you're still saying like that today as a brand, then you're not a brand. You're a seller.
Building a timeless brand is a long game. It's very easy to just spend marketing dollars today on Meta. What really matters is what our strategy is going across all channels.
Brand building is not performance marketing at the end, right? Brand building is something that you build over 5 years, 10 years, 15 years and not 2 years or 3 years by setting.
I was absolutely, completely in awe on the decision tree that Meta had on the basis of how they decide which ad to show. It's mind-boggling.
We have listed Bondi snacks in across 6 to 7 online platforms, not just to increase sales or boost sales, it's for just awareness.
Was this the best Diwali like some of the news pieces are saying? What was your experience?
October, right before Diwali, we saw a massive surge.
Number of orders that we got was more than what we expected, and that's interesting part that was is we are getting a client, we are not getting a new clients rather than the repeat client that we have.
All channels were, firing on all cylinders. It was amazing. And every channel we touched, 8x ROAS, 7x ROAS.
We received a lot of orders, like close to 2,000 gift boxes. And on top of that, we received corporate orders as well. So yeah, overall, I think it was a successful season.
GST lowering down, I think everybody was saving for the festive months to spend, right? Started with Durga Puja, then Diwali, and then you had Chhat in the northern side of the area, which is UP, Bihar, Jharkhand. Then now we have Halloween, Black Friday, a lot of concerts coming in.
People used to have perception that tier 2 and tier 3 cities do not have the purchase power, but that's completely false these days.
Audience are everywhere, but the strategy that what you need to do on Amazon, do on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, the strategy needs to be different because all the platforms works very differently.
So for next Diwali, what would you say it'd be safe to predict? Would it be a 20% up from here? Hello and welcome to another episode of Startup Table with AJ. AJ being me, Archana Jahagirdar, and we are in the Rukam Capital office as we often are. And it's an interesting edition we are doing today. We are going to learn how businesses are built on the back of, the various sort of associate partners that founders have and try and understand what does it take to build a startup today. So as always, I'm going to request everyone at the table to introduce themselves. And of course, I hope there's lots of great insights that founders, would-be founders, and anybody associated who wants to learn about the startup ecosystem can learn from, can be a better founder, can start a startup, after watching this episode. So welcome everybody. I'll start from this side and request that we introduce ourselves. So please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Archana Jahagirdar. I'm the founder of Antinorm. Antinorm is creating multifunctional, climate-centric personal care products for fast-moving working women of India.
Hello everyone, my name is Prem Pandey and I graduated in last year 2024, and for the past 1.5 years I was working with Zomato, and this year from March and April onwards, along with my co-founder Mr. Ashish Pathak, we were working on a startup Puja.in where we are solving end-to-end offline puja service. If someone wants to have puja at his home or their home, so the next question must not be how. The how we are solving, from Panditji to complete puja samagri and to basic home decor, each and everything, even matches tak hum log bhejte hain. So you need to focus on the puja, rest of things we will take care of it.
Hi, my name is Umair and I'm the founder of a company called Nitro Commerce. We're building a parallel ads ecosystem to Meta and Google where we allow consumer brands to identify and target the same users because there's a lot of competition across these. And the advertising industry has been duopolized for last decade. We're building a genuine alternative where brands can target the same user across various new inventories, the new age applications, the games, the UPI apps that currently are outside the purview of Meta and Google. And we're a couple of years old. We are already almost at 6 million ARR, and yeah, I mean, we are almost about 0.5% through our mission already. So,
Well done.
Hi, my name is Ayush Gupta. I'm co-founder and chief marketing officer of Bonvi Snacks. So Bonvi Snacks stands for making healthy snacking more innovative and fun for the mass consumers. So yeah, we're seeing some good traction, and our mission is to expand the brand all across the world and make healthy eating fun for everybody.
Hi, my name is Divya. I run a company called Binge Labs where we help a lot of founders, VCs, and brands for their organic content. I've been doing this for the last 3 years, and we do around, I think, 110 million views organically across the channels.
Okay, welcome everybody to the table. And the first, I think, question or comment I want to make at this table is, what does it take to be a breakthrough brand given that Meta, Google, and all the social media channels which help you reach the consumer is now very, very expensive? So what's that golden trick? And Aparna, we'll start with you and go through around the table.
So specifically in the personal care and beauty space, this is very prevalent given that much of the market is now inundated with lots of players, that you have to really differentiate the value proposition that you're offering to the customer, but also be able to communicate that through the clutter. So I think what it takes to be a truly breakthrough brand is I would say clarity in thought and communication to your customer. I think that resonates more, really identifying what is the persona you're going after, and building for them very diligently over a period of time. Earlier, what used to be the easy thing to do, or not easy, but rather what people were going after was quick virality. What we've noticed is that now that funnel, top of the funnel, middle and bottom of the funnel is getting stronger and steadier, where if your communication channels are coherent, it ultimately reaches the right customer and converts them. So it may not be right away, but that compounds at the end of a certain amount of time, and that's what it really takes to truly build a brand today.
So for poojakaro.in, which we are working, so the kind of, obviously what she said to us, the kind of communication which is very important for representing what you are doing. So for us, it is very difficult for us, just like if I make another ride hailing app or another food delivery app. So it is kind of easy for us, everyone knows about it, it is a kind of food delivery, kind of Ola, Uber, kind of any regional or already set of startup, which is kind of thing where we need to communicate to the client, sir, we are offering Panditji to complete puja samagri, and in this puja samagri they asked to us, sir प्रसाद भी लेके आएंगे क्या, what we need to do. So we simply say आपको कुछ नहीं करना है. So the thing आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, you need to only focus on the puja वाला part. So this is kind of communication that we need to clear to the client and kind of difficult for us. हम home decor भी करेंगे, सर कैसे होता है ये, आप प्लीज़ मैं वीडियो फोटोज भेज देंगे क्या. The kind of communication we are working on our video content creation. I will come content to you also. The thing which we are breakthrough for us, how we can do it.
No, my question actually was a little bit more focused. My question was how, not what. So I think what both of you talked about was what is that needs to be said, but where do you say it? What are those channels that are important? That is, I think, the key. I think a lot of founders want to know that how do you reach the consumer? Through which channel? Omer, you want to go first and then we can come back.
we currently work with close to about 2,500 plus brands in India. And so we do have a slightly bird's eye view of what channels are working and how. But I want to say something slightly contrarian to this, right? And there is a lot of focus on how do you build differentiation in a category, and which is great. I'm not saying that it's not great. It's absolutely fantastic that people are building those differentiation. But I think that sometimes it's just the market that takes you with itself, right? And it's the momentum in the market. It just so happens that we are maybe the luckiest generation, because we are building at a time in India where it's the market and its momentum, the people coming online and their propensity to purchase is phenomenally high, right? We always underestimate the purchasing power of middle India. We do. And in that sense, I think it's very important to, obviously, to shout at the top of your lungs on all given channels. It's not one channel. It cannot be one channel anymore. It cannot be that, hey, I'm an Instagram brand, or I'm an online D2C first brand, and I'm a retail brand, or I'm a quick commerce scaled up brand, or an Amazon. If you're still saying like that today as a brand, then you're not a brand. You're a seller, right? You haven't truly built a holistic brand. So I think to be able to build a brand, it's not one channel. So you asked me what channels and how to reach to these people. It's all channels. Today's consumer is searching about your brand on Amazon, looking at your reviews, is also looking at who's using a product on Instagram. It's not just looking at your Instagram feed. It's looking at people who tagged you. And so they're looking at your website. And if it feels shoddy, or like it was built in 2012 or 2002, they're not going to buy from you, right? And you'll lose that sale. So I think the consumer is, thanks to UPI and thanks to the fraud prevention that's happened in India, consumer is a lot more, has built an inherent trust. But you still need to win that trust. I was talking to Suyash, who runs this, who used to now runs this brand called Dot & Key. I don't know if you've heard of Dot & Key, but I hope we all have. And I was talking to Suyash and I said, Suyash, we are acquiring this product that helps brands in quick commerce, and what's your thought about it? And he said, Umair, everyone used to think that quick commerce is the next fad. It's VC funded. And today we are spending 1.5 crores a month and generating 15 crores, 20 crores worth of sales, right? And so that's 10x ROAS on a new channel that was not there 3-4 years back. So I would say that as a brand, you have to be on all channels all the time. Founders, if you're not blasting at the top of your lungs on LinkedIn, for example, you are missing out, right? So LinkedIn might not be the traditional channel where D2C sales are made, but it is. You have to.
So you're saying you have to be both tangential and direct both,
Absolutely.
basically.
Absolutely.
What's your view?
I think he has put it very eloquently. I agree. And even for us, for Bonvi Snacks as well, people need to experience the food, right? I can shout all over Instagram, all over Meta, like this is a healthy snack, buy it. But people need to try it, taste it. So how we do go about it, like we participate in a lot of exhibitions. So we're going to Gulf Food next year. We were in Moscow this year. Last year we were in Paris. So we got a lot of deals out of that. People tried it, they loved it. And as far as performance marketing is concerned, right? So, I mean, we can spend a lot of money on performance marketing, like there's no end to it. I'll get impressions, I'll get likes and whatnot. But what we have done, like we have listed Bonvi Snacks in across 6 to 7 online platforms, not just to like increase sales or boost sales, it's for just awareness. Like we're burning money, but awareness is still there. And I think it's a long-term goal to where we can see that increase in sales will be there. So yeah, I think it's a mix of both online and BTL activities. So yeah, I think focus on all these things should be there.
Deve? I think you're the king of content, so tell us.
I think brand building in India has gotten even harder, right? With all the incomes coming in, see thousands of brands coming in, right? While everyone talks about differentiation, there's little bit of differentiation that you can do in any of the products, right? We saw Whole Truth coming in, then we saw Super U taking it over and doing massive revenues, right? I think what brands need to realize is brand building is not performance marketing at the end, right? Brand building is something that you build over 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and not 2 years or 3 years by spending like crores of money in performance, getting sales. Sales, then I think that is a different trajectory altogether with brand building. I think brands today really need to focus on their own distribution channel, right? In the past 3, 4, 5 years, brands have spent a lot of money on influencer marketing. If I talk about 2021 to 2025, hoping that they build a brand, but I think they got impressions, likes, and all of that. Then they spending money on performance again, getting all the conversion that they want. But I think a true brand is remembered when the brand owns their own distribution. People come there for the brand narrative, for the brand story, right? You see all the great brands being built. Apple will not require influencers to do publicity of Apple, right? The product is great, and so there's marketing, right? The ads are 10, 15, 20 seconds of very simple ads that they make, and they, I think, sell really the most. So I think brands today need to really focus on their organic channels and how they can build their own distribution so that they are not reliant upon meta influencers and all of that, because as the spending power is increasing, the rate of those channels will also increase, the rate of those influencers will also increase. How much would you focus on them? So I think focusing on organic and focusing on the right thing. Of course, building a brand actually, I think, takes a lot of luck as well. You have to get a lot of things right in building a brand, right? You have to get right channel partners. You have to understand content as a DNA in your brand. You have to hire great people. So a lot of things has to go right, and that is why we have very certain limited timeless brands built out of India, right? I think recently Piyush Pandey passed away, right? He has done stellar campaigns across the board through Ogilvy, right? With Fevicol, with all of the brand. And today, I think I was listening to Piyush Pandey's podcast with Shantanu someday. He also said that branding has changed a lot. People are thinking that advertising is branding, advertising not branding. I think people really need to focus on their own distribution channel. They are able to build their own distribution of 5 lakh followers, 1 million followers, which is also engaging, not just random followers coming in for your entertainment content. I think that's when you'll truly build a great brand over 5-10 years. And as I think Umar said, right, all the channels are necessary. There's not that you only focus on Instagram, only focus on LinkedIn, or only focus on Twitter. Audience are everywhere. But the strategy that what you need to do on Amazon, I do not say about Amazon and Blinkit because I'm not an expert there, but what you need to do on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, the strategy needs to be different because all the platforms works very differently. So the audience might be same on the platform, the intent, whether the audience comes on Twitter, whether the audience comes on LinkedIn, or whether the audience comes on Instagram is very different. So you have to cater to that intent of the same audience across the channels for, I think, for a very, really long time to actually build a brand when you don't have to spend a lot of performance marketing money to get conversions in.
You didn't mention Snap at all. Why is that? Snap is not as big in India.
It's getting bigger. You will see a lot of brands going there. Snap is still a very Gen Z focused platform. I think you have average age of 20 to 25 years old there on
But
the...
isn't that the cohort everybody wants to sell to, the 22 to 25?
The problem with that cohort, especially I think in India, is though they are a very aspiring cohort in general, but still if that cohort still relies on their parents' money at the end, right? It's the 28, 30-year-olds decision makers who are making those decisions for that 22 year. Either they could be their parents, bhaiya, didi, all that together. I think Snap is a good channel. I have not explored much of Snap right now. And I've not seen much brands also exploring Snap as of now. Getting new, I think if Snap can also attract really purchasing audience, and I think also has tier 1 audience which has I think purchase power. But if it can also attract some really old audience of 28, 30 years old, I think that value can spike in.
Aparna, you want to take another stab at what's the channel that excites you the most?
Actually, my answer is a subset of both yours and yours. We want to be everywhere. We want to be omnichannel across, easy for customers to find us. But like you said, building a brand takes it's a long game, right? Building a timeless brand is a long game. It's very easy to just spend marketing dollars today on Meta and acquire customers. It's not that difficult as it used to be, or I mean, maybe it's gotten more difficult with different brands coming in. But what really matters is what our strategy is going across all channels. So today I can confidently say we have our foot in the door in every channel, including Snap for that matter. We're not doubling down on that. We are observing closely as to how users behave on that platform, so that when we do in about 6, 8, 9, 10 months, we have gone with a decisive strategy that is actually set to win. Today, we want to take this to a certain amount in 5 to 6 years, and I don't think rushing that is going to actually get us there at all, because as a founder, capital efficiency really matters to me in the next 5-6 years and then onward. But that doesn't deter us from exploring channels. But I would still say right now, to answer your question then in short, is that Meta is a really easy place to kind of go and understand the customer. My customer base is over the age of 30, so I haven't really engaged with Gen Zs as much, but I've learned a lot via Meta and some experimentation at Snap on how Gen Z is behaving. And I think over the period of next year, 2 years, we'll have much more decisive groups of individuals going to certain channels, and founders would have a better insight into where they can acquire customers. But today, I think between Google and Meta we have heavy reliance there, and I mean, we're hoping to change that. So,
No, so I have a Snap, this thing. We are one of the distributors of Snap in India. So, yeah. So I have a little bit of bias towards Snap, of course. But I think it's, as a channel, so by the way, it's 23 crores users now in India, active users, which is a lot. You probably...
Which platform has the most? So Snap is at 23?
WhatsApp.
Is that how much?
It's 70 crores, 70 crores.
Wow.
70 crore plus.
Wow.
And so Snap is at 23 crores, which is not bad.
That's very good.
And we are at about 12 crores as a network today. So we're very proud of that. But Snap is at 23. And what we found out was that, and this is what even Spiegel also said in one of the earnings call about a couple of quarters back, is that they have managed to bring in large advertisers on the platform, but they have not been able to create that performance engine yet. They've not been able to create that performance that Meta has created so well. And the reason for that is two things, primarily, which Snap hasn't really worked on, but wasn't their focus because, they wanted to build the best. But obviously that generation grew up and now they want to focus on, because now that generation has the propensity to spend. And that generation slowly in the next 5 years, that will be, so Snap is also playing a long game. However, I want to bring it back to what are the two pillars of how Meta was able to build. It was identity and intent. And I have seen the algorithm at work, it is pure magic. Absolutely nobody in the world can code that shit.
So hat tip to the engineers then.
It is absolutely, I don't use this term very often, but I was flabbergasted. I was absolutely completely in awe on the decision tree that Meta had on the basis of how they decide which ad to show. It's mind-boggling, right? And the identity, they have everything on you. Not just your Facebook profile, not just your Instagram, your buying behavior, what apps do you have, how much do you spend, what UPI do you do, everything that they have. And then they have your intent. What is your intent today? You could be like a perfect buyer for Mercedes, right? And I can show you Mercedes 200 times or 2,000 times. And you'll be like,
Let me buy a Scorpio.
I just bought a Defender, for example. I didn't buy it, but I'm just saying. So
Tell
why would I
us-
just
tell
go
us
for...
more about what car have you bought.
So I'm talking about Archana. So Archana maybe is like, I just bought a Defender, but I'm showing because in my head or in my algorithm, Archana is like a perfect, buyer of that Mercedes. And so Meta's decision tree works on these identity and intent. And this is something that Snap, they focus on a lot more gimmicks, like I wouldn't call them gimmicks, like lenses and stuff like that, which sold to large BPC customers. Now, when we are working together with them, we are also sharing a lot of, we have built direct integration with Meta, with the Snap, and we are sharing a lot of what we do at Nitro to Snap, and that has resulted in campaigns performing 3 times, 4 times better ROAS than Meta and Google.
But that's the direction they want to take. The reason we are gathered here today to some extent, or a large extent, is to understand how is Diwali. Diwali is the biggest, busiest and the best sort of moment for especially consumer businesses. So what does each one of you think? Has it worked? Was this the best Diwali, like some of the news pieces are saying? What was your experience, each one of you?
I can go. So it was our 4th month of sales. And actually, before Diwali, there was a GST reform. So I and several founders in the D2C community noticed a big lag in the month of September right after the announcement, because customers expected that there'll be big price changes and waited and withheld their purchases till that moment in time. And October, right before Diwali, we saw a massive surge, of course, in the brand. Customers were more willingly spending on gift boxes, for example, for gifting purposes, and then also their cart value was much higher, so AOVs were much higher during Diwali. What's interesting, and what I found interesting, even that it's my first Diwali as a founder, is that that has sustained.
Oh, nice.
That has sustained. And I'm right now figuring out, is it because of a particular reason that has sustained, or is it just in general the market sentiment is that okay, we withheld purchases, now the year end onwards we will make these big purchases. Also the fact that Diwali came a little bit earlier than the customer is used to is probably the reason for this. So we are seeing an upward trajectory since Diwali.
What have you seen?
Diwali for us was very fabulous. This is the first Diwali as a founder, as she said. So the number of orders that we got was more than what we expected. And the interesting part that was is we are getting a client, we are not getting a new clients rather than the repeat client that we have. So we are not be able to accept the new orders. This is a very good part for us just because our NPS score is very good. So we were getting more number of repeat clients rather than the new clients. So this was very good Diwali for us.
Amir?
Well, this is my 11th Diwali as a founder. Not in this company, my previous stint as well. And so I have fortunate enough to be part of some of the brands that have been built in the country from very early days. Snitch was at 100 orders a day, 100 orders a month when we started working with them. This was a very special Diwali for us because two reasons. There is, obviously the momentum was there and everyone is super excited about Diwali and everyone wants to spend on Diwali. And it was all true, by the way. All channels were, firing on all cylinders. It was amazing. And every channel we touched, 8x ROAS, 7x ROAS.
What?
Absolutely. I mean,
During Diwali?
During Diwali. Wow. We work with a brand called Yumi that sells luggages. And I opened the dashboard and I had to put the screenshot in Slack. It's like, is the data correct? Are these our numbers that we are giving? Because we were giving phenomenal at 1.8x. Even BPC, we work with Rene Cosmetics, 3x ROAS, 3.5x ROAS. Absolutely phenomenal on all channels that we were, firing on all cylinders. But I think that I think what you said, this will be a sustained over the next couple of months as well. Because Diwali came in a little early. I think people were already held up a little bit of their purchasing for Diwali, and this is the festive season. Traditionally, this season has seen that there is the Share in October, then Diwali in November, and it goes on till December. So we are hoping that the same trend continues, and October, November, December is like the bumper 3 months of the India consumer story. So touch wood, everything is well, and some of the ROAS have pulled back, but it's not massive and it's still upwards 20-30% up from what they were getting. The first 3 months of the year, the April, May, June quarter, that's the toughest. And if you can, as a founder, just build sort of guardrails around that first quarter where people are a little pulled back in spending. There are no big holidays there. There is more, I think, Rakhi.
Only in August, no?
Yeah, so exactly. So April, May, June is always. So if you, as a founder, if you can just see that April, May, June maybe is the month you focus on inventory and supply chain. This thing, July, August, September was better, but October, November, December is breaking all the numbers of last year, breaking all the numbers of previous 2 quarters. So so I think this is a trend, and as a founder, you have to build that sort of. Mentally also that numbers will fall, and as a VC that funds a lot of these consumer brands, also you have to be that MIS will not always be like this. It will be like this, but when you pull back a little bit and look at it at a yearly MIS, and the graph is like that. But on a day to day, it will always, or month to month, or quarter to quarter, it will be like this.
How was Diwali for you?
Yeah, I mean, for us, this was a big Diwali. We thought that we'll run a special campaign for Diwali, so we refurbished our website, we ran special campaigns, and for the first time we launched our own gift boxes as well, right? So whenever someone orders, so we customize it with their name and everything. So it gave a little personal touch to the gift box, right? So I think this was a very successful Diwali for us. We received a lot of orders, close to 2,000 gift boxes, and on top of that we received corporate orders as well. So yeah, overall I think it was a successful season. And then Christmas is coming, Halloween is also coming. So exactly the last October, November, December, it's full of seasons, right? So we're continuing the same momentum for Halloween, for New Year, for Christmas. So and I think this would still go on till Jan. So yeah, this momentum, we need to keep this up, yeah.
Deve?
I think as a media company, festives are always chaotic for us, right? Because a lot of brands coming in, things coming in last moment, and we work, I think, a day before till Diwali, right? Just push out campaigns and content out there. I think one thing which I notice and which I notice every year is that if Diwali is coming in October, brands get reminded in September, October that Diwali is coming in. We have to prepare for Diwali, right?
The poor planners.
So they don't get enough time to think about how they can land a great campaign and how they can do great content and all of that. And they do all the things in rush because the entire brand is in a rush mode. And I think that is why some of the brands end up doing things which they don't have to do if they had more time or I think more months to them. But I think with GST lowering down, I think everybody was saving for the festive months to spend, right? Started with Durga Puja, then Diwali, and then you had Chhat in the northern side of the area, which is UP, Bihar, Jharkhand. Then now we have Halloween, Black Friday, and a lot of concerts coming in.
I can't get over Halloween being a season. Like, please, what happened in
It's
Halloween?
like a full-blown season, by the way. India won. They celebrate Halloween. They host parties at Halloween. There is now specific companies that cater to Halloween decorations. Not just party decorations, Halloween decorations now. Apparently, I had to buy a dress for Halloween party, so,
I'm glad you're contributing to the economy wow, I didn't know Halloween was a season. I was like, my mind is blown.
Yeah,
What goes
these
up,
days
sweets goes
you
up
have.
during-
These days you have to keep candies now at your home. Kids come for trick or treating.
Yeah, they come trick or treat. Especially if you live in a condominium.
Exactly.
The doorbell keeps ringing. I mean, yeah.
And you have now Halloween seeing in tier 2 cities as well, right? Not just in Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore, but cities like Kanpur, Patna, Lucknow, all of that, you'll see Halloween events happening.
we will adopt Halloween in our own style.
And we must, because if it gives fillip to the consumer spending, why not? It's one more reason.
And we are the OGs at it, right? Like,
we do it well.
Bhootaya is like that. We are the OGs at it, so might as well just celebrate.
Yeah. But coming back to Diwali and the revenues and the sales numbers, Aparna, you were an investor before this, so you've seen your other portfolio companies, though this is your first Diwali as a founder. What were you seeing earlier? I mean, were people looking to buy, let's say, BOGO offers, or if things are discounted, or you think the consumer behavior, and this is, of course, the question is to the entire table, but are the consumers looking to buy full price product, more premium products? This Diwali, was that, segmentation, were you able to see this?
That's actually a really interesting question, because I was trying to draw a parallel between what was Diwali like for some of my portfolio companies, why I was doing this exercise was to understand how well prepared are we, going into Diwali, and what assumptions I had from the last couple of years was that customers would make bigger purchases when it came to electronics and cars and durable goods, and anything which was to do with whether personal care or everyday use saw an surge, but other incumbents, larger players like the Lakmes of the world would crowd the market enough that your ads wouldn't kind of reach the customers. So brands really withheld and just did small discounting on their website to convince the customer. This time, however, what I noticed is customers were not looking for discounts as much. Although I have to say that's just how us Indians are. I myself am a discount purchaser. Give me 5% off, I'm definitely buying anything at that point in time. But this time I noticed a lot of people buying full price products and not seeking out specific discounts. And like you said, lots of retention during this Diwali as well. I think people holding back that cash during the GST or the pre-festivities period then decided to double down on the products that they actually liked, buy them at whether full price or discounting, and then saved for larger durable goods. Maybe luggage saw a big uptake. I know electronics saw a huge uptake. GST is obviously contributing to that. Cars saw a massive
back
uptake.
to your
the
dashboard,
sold every 6 seconds. So it's interesting how the shift is happening. I think the premium customer of India doesn't really care as much of a discount as much as, can I get a free gift on top of that? Am I getting something else on top of that? They are not looking for discounts as much because they've already made the decision to pay that extra 200, 300 over mass brands. And at this point in time, they'd prefer maybe getting an added product but not a discount.
Yeah, the way you've seen many Diwalis, different brands, what do you feel? I mean, is there a shift this year?
No, I think the shift is not just this Diwali. I think for the last 1.5, 2 years, where we see a uprise in the premium segment, right, where consumers, their income has increased, right, their disposable income have increased, and they would want to buy healthier products, right, feel more premium. I think take flights versus trains, right, and get in cars and use cabs versus metros, all of that, right. So they would want to, I think, upgrade the lifestyle, right? Because a lot of these consumers are again 21 to 30 years old, right? Who would want comfort over कि यार मैं sacrifice कर लेता हूँ, 10 रुपए बचा लेता हूँ, 20 रुपए बचा लेता हूँ, and go to a lower brand or all that so ever, right? Because now with that also comes a lot of social added pressure, right? With all the platforms that they're active on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all of that, where they have to show that also they're living a luxury lifestyle. We saw that happening in the Diljit concert, Coldplay concert, where I think the people were paying premium to go to the concert just to flex. I think the combined results of all of it is, I think, contributing to the premium economy of India, where I think mass premium has become a thing, where you don't buy a 1,000 rupees product, but you get over a 700 or 800 rupees product when you were buying a 300 or 400 rupees product before.
Last year during Diwali, after Diwali happened, so all the big legacy brands said, oh, market is really bad, we couldn't sell anything and all. And I spoke to our portfolio founders, plus, whatever, I was speaking to other funds and all. And every startup had a bumper Diwali.
Yeah.
So the shift had started happening from the legacy guys now to the startups.
No, Archana, I think I slightly differ there. The legacy guys, and we work with, some of the legacy players as well.
You have to protect your customers.
No. It is how they behave. It's not something to do with, I think the new age founder that runs the D2C brand and the legacy guy. The legacy guy will do 3x of what he did last year, and he will say,
अच्छा नहीं गया
so गया है, बहुत amazing नहीं है. It's just that there was a concept के नज़र लगती है, ठीक है, and it is still big in the middle, ages, and my dad is also like that, and he's like, don't put this on Instagram. What are you doing? Like, he would call me up and say, we recently met, Sheikh Imran, and I had put that story out. And I got a lot of congratulatory message, and my mom called me up immediately, and she was like, you should not put this out on the internet.
नजर लग जाएगी.
Yeah, because नजर लगती है. So
नजर बट्टू भी रख लो साथ में.
So I think that's just like how India behaves. I think you go to any shopkeeper and say कि Diwali कैसे गई, and he would have done 3 times what he did last year, and he was like, I remember my dad is a doctor, so he had like one of the patient, Jain Saab, who used to come to our house on Diwali and gift us. So Jain Saab always used to say, धंधा अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है. तो when I grew up, I asked him कि Jain Saab, आप ये कैसे quantify कैसे करते हो? तो वो कहने लगे कि जब हम सोचते हैं कि 20% ग्रोथ होगी और सिर्फ 17% होती है, तो हम कहते हैं धंधा 3% लॉस में. 17% ग्रोथ को नहीं काउंट कर रहे हैं, वो 3% जो नहीं कर पाए उसको लॉस काउंट कर रहे हैं. Right, so I think there is this mentality of saying, but because you invest and you get the MIS, so you obviously know that
the real picture, yeah. I mean, and I think when markets shift, they don't shift overnight, right? It's these trends that eventually show you that the market has completely shifted. So one thing, my lesson from last year's Diwali was that the legacy guys are now beginning to take the startup consumer brand seriously. Till then it was like, theek hai, they're doing something, God knows what are these trends they're talking about. Nobody took them, the guys in the business didn't take them seriously. Hum bichare VCs were the ones taking them seriously. And then now I think everybody's decided to sit up and take note that there is a movement that is happening away from any other insights between this Diwali and the last 2 Diwalis, because the last 2 Diwalis were also when we were coming out of COVID. This is, I would say now we are firmly out of that pandemic. People have almost forgotten the pandemic. So is it that the spend that happened this time, the GST rates being revised, also the fact that now everybody wants to live for now? Has pandemic changed the behavior, and is that how it's getting reflected in Diwali? Anybody can start.
So I think it's an ongoing trend, Archana. It's not like it was this year versus last year. I think it's just the shift in demography and in the purchasing power. Every year it shifts a little bit, and it's not like you said. This legacy is shifting. So as a VC, you had like the front row seats to this shift. A lot of people will suddenly wake up and it's like, wow, what happened in the last 5 years? How has that shifted from these legacy brands to new age consumer brands? And I think that, having said that, I think that there is a lot more trust which has been built. I always say this, that
true.
A part of the reason a lot of consumer brands struggled back in the day and marketplaces did really well was because India is a low trust society. We don't inherently trust. Package aayega, nahi aayega, kitne din mein aayega. Thanks to a lot of enablers on the delivery side, logistics side, UPI, fraud protection, a lot of trust has been built now. When I go to a website now, or forget me, someone like my father or my mother who are not very internet savvy, they also go onto websites now and order. They don't really care about Myntra or an Amazon or a Flipkart anymore. They can actually figure out a brand on a Facebook feed and go and click and say, yeah, this is looking good. And when I ask them that, you've prepaid this order, what happened? Like, how did, I was just curious, I wanted to know. And so like, agar nahi hoga to cancel kar denge, or, the money will get refunded. And so there is this slowly over the last 5-6 years. So all of that we see every Diwali is, it's just that adding a little bit, and it's like they say that it's slowly one by one, and then it's all of a sudden.
Exactly.
So all of a sudden, it's not all of a sudden, it's 10 years of slowly chipping away and getting people to trust, getting people online, getting people to trust influencers, to trust the content that they're seeing, to trust the brand's website that they're seeing. Razorpay, for example, adding that badge of trust, that 3,000 orders were placed via Razorpay, was such a big, input to the trust factor. And so a lot of enablers coming together, building the guardrails so that the consumer feels safe while making that purchase. I think that has also aided. And I think buy now, pay later also was a big. So I think I can do a whole segment on credit, but I don't want to like.
You mustn't. Any other thoughts on this?
And I mean, just to add to that also, what we've seen, like, influencer marketing also plays a major role in these things. And it's directly related to tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well, because people used to have perception that tier 2 and tier 3 cities do not have the purchase power. But that's completely false these days, right? So people from tier 2, tier 3, they get influenced by influencers or celebrities, buying premium brands, and they have the purchasing power. So they also want to try these things, just to, experience it and be part of that. So I think a lot of consumer demand and shift has also shifted to tier 2 and tier 3 and other smaller cities. So yeah, I think a lot of people are now buying new things, premium things.
Any other thoughts on this?
I think as Omar said, right, it's a combination of things that has happened. Payment has gotten easier with UPI coming in, right? Earlier, if I talk about 5-6 years back, you had to take a card, pin that up, had that thing in mind, कि मेरा card चोरी हो जाएगा, pin कोई चुरा लेगा. That is one. You see now a lot of quick commerce players also enabling in all the cities, not just in tier 1 cities, but now tier 2 cities can also get products in 10, 15, 20 minutes coming in, right? There's almost no differentiation in pricing between an Amazon versus a Blinkit or a, say, Instamart, right? I think that convenience has paid up. Earlier, when I think Flipkart, Snapdeal, all this started, they did not have cash on delivery as an option to pay. Now, every quick channel option, I think Amazon, all of that, has that COD option. Till time order is not 1 lakh or 2 lakh rupees, that's there. Right? And then, of course, there's a trust that has content built across all the channels. And then there's a sense of nationalism as well, which has kicked in the last few months and years, right? Which is that you have to buy Indian products and Indian brands, and then Indian brands also capitalizing on that trend. I think these 4, 5, 6 factors combined all together in the last 4, 5, 6 years have played into this major role, which I think now has that 5, 10 more years to go where, when we really spend a lot on these products and not think much about it.
Any other thoughts on this? Anybody wants to comment? So for next Diwali, like what would you say it'd be safe to predict? Would it be a 20% up from here? I mean, all things being pretty much the same in the sense there's no big war that breaks out somewhere, or those black swan moments don't happen. How would you say that there's enough momentum in the economy, in how the consumer is thinking, that would it be a 20% jump next year? Would it be a 50%? Like how is it looking? So from a year-on-year sort of revenue comparison.
I would agree. I would say it's probably more than 20 even. And because I have a thesis where I think the older Gen Zs, they're roughly second.
Older Gen Z? That's an oxymoron, Aparna.
The older side of Gen Z. That's just going from they're in their late 20s. So I'm the last bit of millennial. And they are now going towards middle management, and from their early jobs to really having propensity to spend more and more and more. And I think the next 5 years, this group of individuals is going to really rain down and buy all D2C brands, all premium products that are available in the market. And we can drill down as to why. I have a thesis there as well. But I think because when we were younger, the social, how would we dictate social status when our parents were younger? Let's go that far. Is that, you can buy a house, you have a car, it's very simplified. And that dictated a certain amount, okay, this is their social strata. They have a car, they have a house of their own. Now it's absolutely unaffordable to have a house of your own. Like at any salary, we live in metropolitans, Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, even more unaffordable. Even as a millennial in their 30s, I find it extremely difficult to purchase a house of my own. Now, how do I signal to my peers that I belong to a certain social strata is through buying premium products and premium brands. And while millennials still don't feel the need to do so, or I would hope that, Gen Z really feels the need to do so. They have high dependency on their social value, which I think they gain from Snapchat, Instagram, their perception in the market, and goes along with your concert thing as well. They want to be present in like bigger events. And if you think about it, what is the average cost of these ticket prices? Travis Scott and 19,000. I find it
expensive. Yeah, and everybody's going everywhere.
I'm in the middle of my career and I still find it unaffordable to. I'm not spending 19,000. I'll watch him on YouTube. But Gen Z doesn't
listen
feel
on
that
Spotify.
way. Yeah.
Even cheaper.
Exactly. So they feel, how else would they tell their peers what their social strata is? And I truly feel that that's how they're going to behave in the market in the next 5 years. So till 2032, in fact, I feel this is on the upswing. Completely J-curve.
You've done the job of an economist right now, but anyway, any other thoughts on this?
I think that there are two ways. I think definitely it's going to go up. How much percentage? I think it will also come down to a little bit of policy making.
What in policy would you like to see?
I think slightly ease off on the credit side of things, and we are seeing that. Individuals are taking loans and buy now, pay laters, and it's become easier to kind of get flexible sort of payment options or loan options. People don't even want to call it loans nowadays. It's early salary.
Convenience.
It's convenience. Yeah. So they want to get money now and then spend it and then think about consequences later. And so I think credit unlocked a massive outlay in the consumer economy about 20 years back in the United States. And we are seeing, obviously RBI is a slightly more conservative, which I give them huge credit for because they have really held the rails together on this one. However, I believe that if the credit, and it is happening slowly, the repo rates, directly from the repo rates, the rate at which RBI lends to banks to now going to consumer, all of those rates are slightly going down. It's a competitive market, it's an open market, so a lot of players are also coming in on the lending side. Every fintech that we know is now in the lending side of things. So I do believe that this upward trend is going to go thanks to the credit availability in the market. A lot more fintech enabling this. But also, I think it's just like I said, the first statement that I made, it's just the market. The market is getting ready, primed, and we are not even, I would say, about 5% in. Right? We're not even 5% in. Truly, the depth of the market is when this retail, unorganized and slowly organized, but also unorganized, will move towards online purchasing. That is, and it's not going to happen overnight. Like I said, over the last decade, it has happened. But every year, we're going to slowly chip away a little bit of retail to online, and the spendings will shift. And that's just the, and the India story is so powerful in itself. The paying propensity. I was talking to Wonder Chef, and Ravi was saying that हमने 1000 करोड़ की मिक्सी बेची है यार इस साल.
1000 करोड़ की, wow.
मिक्सी. So आप ये, we talk about incumbents and old age brands. 1000 करोड़ की मिक्सर ग्राइंडर इंडिया के किचन्स में वंडर शेफ ने पहुंचाए. So I think that just shows you the power, the purchasing power. All we need to do is just capture the power, and slowly as we build towards it, and I think next year, the entire year, hopefully, is going to be better than 20%, 25%. I don't know, honestly, but it's going to be better based on the policy, the GST reforms. By the way, GST reform it hasn't really hit people
yet.
It was like, yes, in the moment, and people were excited about it, but I think the real thing will come when the next year they will have a little bit more savings going into SIPs, a little more returns coming out. That's when the real, I think, impact. So next Diwali, we'll see the GST reform impact.
More strongly.
Yes, more strongly.
Any other comments on this? Next Diwali, what will it look like?
Yeah, no, honestly, I think, nobody can say how much the growth percentage would be it 15, 20, 30, right? But I think India is, it's quickly becoming an ecosystem for business support as well. Like governments is introducing a lot of grants for business to grow, innovate, and reduce the price of the products as well. And with GST reforms, people will slowly see their purchasing power increase as well, and it will improve, year on year. These GST reforms will keep on upgrading and keep on improving. So I think, it will not go down from here, or definitely will go up. Just the question is by how much.
One thing I'm, apart from all of these opinions, concerned about is the saving rate of these individuals, right? I think this Diwali there was a report that the saving rate has gone really down for these individuals, right? While I think credit is a nice thing, but how much you take is also a thing, right? If I have the ability to pay, let's say 50,000, and take a 1.5 to 2 lakh loan, which is very easily available, right, on apps nowadays. How do I repay that? Do I get into that loop or not? If I have the power to spend a lot, right, how much can I control myself and also save for the abrupt times that's going to come in my life? Because life is not a straight curve. It's always right, and with all the, I think, yesterday only, I think Amazon someone 30,000 employees, right? With all the automations AI coming in. That's a different topic altogether, but I'm just saying that the saving has also gone down with spending being increased. So that's also a problem that's going to come in the next 10, 15 years, at least for the consumers whom we are thinking, will spend a lot in the next 10, 15 years.
Anything you want to add?
We can't pick the number, but the thing that we're expecting now, obviously it will get in the numbers that we're expecting. And the thing that he has said, obviously it is a very good point. The loan thing, the credit card thing that has come nowadays, obviously लोन लोग ले ही रहे हैं कि हम दिवाली में इन फेस्टिवल्स में हम अपने आप को ग्रो कर पाएँ. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है शायद कि वो दिवाली को कम कर देगा, but the numbers that we are expecting nowadays obviously will grow up.
So this is the moment in the table when the tables turn and you guys can ask me questions. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Same question. What's your view about growth year on year?
I think we are headed northwards. I don't think the credit trap is going to come very early in our journey. It took even the US, many decades when it started sort of. And I think, see, if you compare it to mature economies like the US, their growth has been pretty stunted also, right? It's almost flat. So that's when it becomes a credit trap. If we continue to grow and, if there are more policy reforms and there are many more impetus which, helps the economy grow apart from its natural sort of growth trajectory, then I don't think we'll fall into a credit trap. Also, I think because India was so big on savings, in fact, I think disproportionately high we used to save. So therefore, now when, the Gen Z is going in a different direction, it seems like a lot because it's a real change in behavior. But maybe in absolute terms or even in percentage terms, I don't think it's as bad as, let's say, what it is in some other economies. So I do think it's a secular trend that we will continue to grow. I think 20-25% I would say is safe to predict. The only reason I wouldn't put a higher number is that there are a lot of headwinds, global headwinds. And because I think we are now in the era of deglobalization, so there will be some wobbles here and there. So what those wobbles is, we don't know right now. So which is why I think there may be a little bit of maybe a dampener if at all one was to identify the dampener. But I think overall, like you said, I think your analysis was pretty good, that the fact that they care about how the world sees them. So they will, again on the concert economy, I mean, it was not so long ago where most concerts would not even come to Delhi. And the thing was, nobody thought it was viable to run concerts in India, right? Like, if you said, oh, why doesn't India see now? It was always, oh, it's not viable. But clearly it's viable today. The number of, international artists who are coming, and even the Indian artists, I mean, it's crazy. So the fact that people are willing to spend so much money so consistently, like I think one concert has just got over. Then there's another big artist who's showing up. I'm like, wow, who's buying all these tickets, And they're all expensive tickets. I mean, they're not cheap tickets at all. And then you eat there, you drink there. So there's plus that is happening on that spending. And there was an era when people used to complain about the price of popcorn in multiplexes. I mean, that era is clearly gone,
I think it was just to do with multiplexes. I think that was a shitty experience.
Yeah.
But no, I think on that question, Archana, I think, and what I want you to maybe emphasize from a VC perspective, because we look at it from an enabler. Are there any sectors that you see growing disproportionately? Obviously, 25-30%, all sectors, great. But what about sectors that you believe are disproportionately great?
Continue to take a leaf out of Aparna's book of explanation and say that anything that is immediately and readily visible is where I think the consumer, because let's be clear, the Gen Z is the tastemaker. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're appealing to a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old, they are influenced also how Gen Z, because nobody now wants to be left behind. I think there is a great FOMO across age groups. So if Gen Zs are going for rock concerts, so will be the 50-year-old or the 60-year-old. I mean, So I think anything where Gen Z and where it's visible, where you can put it on Insta, where you can put it on your social media, I think that those categories will. So I think like one good example of what VCs didn't look at earlier and are seriously considering is travel. Travel was something that VCs were completely against as a category to invest behind because there was just not that multiplier sort of company. But today you look at the number of travel tech kind of startups that are getting funded. It's only because travel has, I think it's grown. And earlier travel was really only business travel. Now there's leisure travel. So travel is therefore now an attractive category for VCs to invest behind. So I think when the consumer shifts, hopefully VCs also shift. So we try and stay in tandem to how the overall consumption is changing. So again, I think you talked about protein and how just as you thought Whole Truth was doing well, then Super U comes and completely upends everything, right? And what is their proposition? It's protein. And we were looking at protein even in 2017, 2018, but there was just not enough uptake at that time. So it was a nice little niche, but it's taken, at least 6-7 years for it to now become so mainstream that a super you comes in from literally the left side and just takes over the market.
Everything has protein now.
Exactly.
Bread has protein.
Everything has protein.
Who has got into that?
Exactly.
Right? When the legacy player starts getting
Exactly.
into the means.
In fact, like I see it, I was when I was driving to work today, I saw a big legacy beauty brand, body lotion, claiming niacinamide, and I'm like, they had ignored all this ingredient-based advertising and conversation. Now suddenly the billboards are talking about niacinamide because it's coming familiar to the consumer now. So nobody can ignore it. Whether you have niacinamide or protein or not, you have to talk about it. So I do think that anything which Gen Z sort of blesses with their appreciation and their money, I think other cohorts will also follow them, is my belief. Any other questions, guys?
I think that my only last question would be, we talked about Gen Zs and we talked about content, but we didn't talk about memes. And honestly, like, it's my favorite topic. I'm a big believer of just reading memes. I'm a meme hog every day. The only social media that I use is to make sure that I'm in tune with the memes. And I think my question is also to Divay, as to, do you think that memes do control consumers today? And is it important to be that part in the consumer journey? And how Indian context memes works? Because, it's just, I don't know, it's maybe out of context a little bit.
So, but before Divya answers, the only thing I'm happy about memes is that India has a sense of humor. And how? Like, I mean, the kind of content you see, it's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny. And you're like, thank God we have a sense of humor as a country.
No, I think plays a role, right? When you see a new movie coming in, before that movie launches out, for the last 2 weeks, every meme is out on every different platforms, right? And now you have, I think, different meme pages building a distribution just because they can earn money promoting, films, sports, brands, and all of that, right? There are meme marketing companies out. WLT is an example, right? I think they're one of the biggest meme marketing company in India, right? So whenever a movie comes in, whenever I think a product wants to launch, something comes in, memes is one of the channels that they would want to go, because I think memes might not convert, but I think they're a good awareness channel. Because when someone shares a meme, they don't look at a bias कि यार brand से आ रहा है, यहाँ पे movies involved है whatsoever, right? When they share it from a brand handle, they get little वो कि यार promotion लग रहा है, brand के handle से आ रहा है. But when you have pages like large pages like देखो भाई, लाख भाई, all of these different kind of pages, right? Serving to now different categories. Now you have a page of founders where only founder memes are coming in, right?
Wait, I need that.
Maybe we need to invest behind that.
Yeah, now you have pages like where only, film memes are coming in, scenes are being created. And it's just not meme, it's just repurposed content on different pages across platforms where they already hold a distribution and they can guarantee that if we campaign karoge, so we have this distribution, we can leverage that. And one good thing about all of these things, it's a very low effort, high ROI activity, right? You don't have to put really good brains into कितना edit करना है, कहाँ पे क्या graphics लगाना है. If the moment captures and the audience resonates, right, it just flies over. You see Shark Tank when it comes, right? All the memes of blasting of previous season, all of this on all the pages, right? Even individuals are using these platforms as a PR strategy. Whenever you see something popping, I'll not take names, right? Something popping out of a human being so evident, you know that they have put in money into the distribution, so that the image becomes more clear. So it's just not memes. I think memes have become also a natural way of organic PR, where you put things out in consumer minds, buying 200, 300 pages and putting that content out.
So on that note, and a happy note, I like memes, is I'd like to thank everybody for being part of this table. And I think my takeaway is that India is finding many ways to celebrate. Diwali, of course, continues to be our biggest season when it comes to consumer products and services. But there are new celebrations emerging, including Halloween. So guys, do celebrate Halloween in its fullness. And the reason I think it's exciting is that I think India is really multicultural, and we adopt things and make it our own. We have our own take. It's like we took the momo, made it our own. We put paneer in our momos. We created tandoori momos. So similarly, Halloween, maybe we'll have our own version and our own take on it, and which is always a great and good thing. But I think coming back to Diwali and GST reforms and all of the things that have contributed this year to be a really good and a really happy, truly a happy and prosperous Diwali for all the brands that put in all the hard work, I think it's very heartening. It shows that the Indian consumer is coming of age. The Indian consumer is confident about made in India. The Indian consumer wants to celebrate the moment, in the moment, as opposed to save for a rainy day. I think some of the conversation was also about how credit has made it so much easier. And there was also some concern, is credit too easy? But I think as long as the growth of the economy outpaces the rate of credit, I think we should be fine. But I think also we were over-indexed on saving at a certain point, and that behavior is changing. So I think overall I think it's good, and next year hopefully Diwali will be brighter, more prosperous and better. Please do watch this episode in full because these founders take time out to share their learning knowledge so that fewer mistakes are made by all you dear audiences who are watching this. And please do tell us in comments what else you want to see from us. Thank you.